Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our online class of computer science. So, today I'm going to start a new chapter. Okay, like in the previous class, we have covered Java revision tour. There are the multiple keywords, okay, multiple expressions, and all, even the data types. We have learned about these things. Now, today we'll be learning some more features of Java. So, our chapter name is Statements, Control Structures, and Scope. So, first of all, what is a statement? What is statement? So a statement is a piece of code, okay, which are executed based on the instruction given by user. So what instruction we provide, on the basis of that certain expression executes, and that expressions are known as statement. This statement can be of single as well as block. So single statement means a single line statement end with a semicolon, that is single statement. And number two is multiple statement. Multiple statement are also known as block. Multiple statement are also known as block. That means a group of line, okay, group of line or group of expression under curly bracket are known as block, or multiple statement, or even compound statement. Is it clear, children? What is statements? Okay, so now let us move to control structure. So see, now control structure. Control structures. Control structures are the features of Java which are basically used to make statement execute. How the statement will execute, that is decided by control structures. We have three different type of control structures. Number one control structure is selection statement. Now what is selection statement? Selection means based on the condition statement execute, that is selection statements. We have multiple selection statements like if, single if, okay, if the condition is true, then statements get executed. Point number two, we have if else. That means if is a true statement, whereas else is a false statement. True and false, both statements are executed, okay, based on if else. Nested if else. If you have more than two conditions, we can use nested. Nested means use of one statement inside one condition inside another conditions, okay. So nested if else means more than two condition if there exist, we can use nested if else. Switch case. So switch case, here we have multiple case, but only one case will be executed based on the switch value. We have to enter a switch value, means a value which will be given by user, and if that value matches with the case value, that particular case get executed. If doesn't match, then it goes to the default statement or default conditions. So switch case is also a selection statement. And fifth is conditional or ternary operator. Conditional or ternary operator. Now what is conditional? Now here in conditional or ternary operator, it acts same as if else, or you can say even we can use nested if else also. Here we have two symbols, question mark and colon. So question mark always indicate that after this we have a true statements, and colon always indicate that after this we have a false statements. So this question mark and colon together makes a ternary operator with three expressions, okay. So this special feature is available in Java. So total selection statement, how many we have is 5. What are they? Single if, that means only true, false part is not seen here. Number 2, if else, that means true and false with two conditions. 3, nested if else. Here we have multiple conditions, more than two conditions, we can use nested if else. Switch case, so many cases can be there, but only one will be executed. It's a menu driven also. Okay, so which one will be executed, that will be decided by the switch value. And fifth part is a conditional or ternary operator. That means with three expressions. First expression is always a condition. Second expression, that is after question mark, is always a true statement. And third expression after colon is always a false statement. So here conditional we can use with if else as well as with nested if else. Okay children, so this is all about selection statement. So now let us see another type. So after selection statement, we have the second type, that is iteration statement. Iteration statement. Now iteration, another name is looping. Looping. That means it is like a circle. It should always contain a start value and an end value, and also number of steps, how to reach from start to end. So three different things should contain, then only that particular statement is known as iteration statement. The benefit of this is we don't have to write the same code, same piece of code again and again. We can keep that code inside a loop, inside a iterations, and that iteration we can apply number of times as much as we want, or based on the question or programs. Okay children, so iterations statement, we have three different types in our syllabus. The first one is the for loop. For loop. For loop is entry control loop. That means the condition is checked at initial stage only. For loop contains three different parts. The first part is the starting or initializations. Second part, that is the condition or expression. And third part is number of steps. Either it can be iteration, increment, or can be decrement. That means either the value increases or the value decreases. That means how to reach from start to end, whether positive side or negative sides. So for loop contains three parts: starting, that is initialization, then condition or expressions, and the third one is number of steps, that can be increment or decrement. So this for loop is known as what? Entry controlled loop. So second type we have is while loop. So while loop is also entry control loop, but here inside while only we place a condition or expression. We cannot place initialization or number of steps inside the while loops. That means initialization should be above the while loop at initial stage. First initialization should be there, or starting point should be there, then inside the while we place a conditions, and inside the block of while, that means inside the curly bracket of while, we have to place number of steps. That can be either increment or can be either decrements. So children, so while loop is also entry control loop, but there is some difference between while and for loop. Is for loop contain three different parts together, whereas while loop contain the first part, that is starting above, then inside while condition or expression, then below while, that means inside the block number of steps, that is increment or decrement. So this is only the difference between while and for loop. Okay children, so now let us see third one is do while loop. Now what exactly is do while loop? Do while is now just opposite of for and while. For and while both are entry control loop, whereas do while is exit control loop. Okay, exit control loop means first the statement get executed. Okay, then when the block is ended, there we place the conditions. That means there the condition will be checked. So the major difference you can say between while and do while is, even if your condition is false, the statement gets executed once. Okay, the statement gets executed once. Whereas in while and for, if statement is false, condition is false, statement will not execute. It will stop there only. Okay, it will not enter the block. Whereas in case of do while, even if condition is false, the statement gets executed once. So this is the difference between do while. Again, in do while, it follows the while technique only. Starting or initialization should be above the block, above the do while. Inside the do and while, there will be number of steps, and when we reach to while, there it will be conditions, and it should be terminated by semicolon. So children, iterations, that means looping structures or looping statements, we have three different type. What are they? For, while, do while. Here for and while, they are entry control loop. That means before entering into the statement, first condition should be checked. Do while is what? Exit control loop. That means first statement gets executed, then only the condition is checked. Okay, so why we use these iterations? We use these iterations in order to solve the repetitions. That means if same statement we need to execute multiple times, so in that case, in such situations, we can place that statement inside the loop, inside the iterations. We can give the starting value, we can give the end value, and we can give the number of steps. That means how it will begin or start from starting, and gradually it will move to the end part. So this is known as iteration statement. Okay children, now let us move to the, now see the third part of control structure is jump statement. Jump statement. Now what is jump statement? Jump means to transfer. Okay, there are basically two types. One is break and another is continue. So there are two different types of jump statement. Okay, so difference between break and continue is, in break it transfer the control. Okay, the control means which executes in a series. It transfer the control outside the block. That means end of the block. Okay, like suppose here break is there, then what happens? The control will directly come outside. Okay, it transfer the control to out of block. Block means the curly bracket. The next line of break will not get executed. Directly it will move out. That is the break. That means it jump the control. Okay, instead of executing the below line directly out of the block. And just reverse of this break, we have continue. Say suppose if I write here continue, then the control will not jump to outside, but instead of that it will not execute. Here also it will not execute the below part, below code it will not execute. Instead it will move, or the control will move to up. That means above the block. The difference is what? Break transfer the control out, that means end part, whereas continue transfer the control to beginning part. Okay, and both work is what? The below statements from break as well as below statement from continue will not get executed. It will only transfer the control. It will jump from one place to another. Okay, continue to beginning, break to end. So this is the jump statement. We have two different types, break and continue. So we understood what is statements, even control structures. Now let us move to scope part. Scope means life, up to how much we can use the variables. See, the life of variables. Or we can say scope of variables. Okay, there are two types. If the variables are declared inside the class, that is class variable. if the variables are declared inside the class, that variable can be used in multiple functions. Their scope is what? They can be used in multiple functions. Whatever functions should be there, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, it will get executed. That means that variable will be known to each and every methods. Okay, because that is class variable. That begins, that variables is a global variables. We can utilize that variable. We can use that variable throughout the program in wherever or whatever functions we have declared. But there are some variables which are declared inside the methods. Okay, so they are limited to particular block. Okay, that can be method, that can be your control structure, okay. That means if the variables are declared inside the block, and the block can be of methods or block can be of control structure, that means if else or maybe iterations, that's for while and do while, or maybe break and continue we don't use. Okay, so whenever a block is there, curly bracket is there, so in that curly bracket if we are declaring the this one variable, that variable becomes local variables. So based on these two, we can say that we have global variables as well as we have local variables. So global variables are class variables that can be utilized in any number of functions or methods or any block also. Okay, whereas locals, they have the lifespan, means limited to particular block. That can be either methods or can be any control structures. So this is known as scope of a variable, or you can say lifespan of a variables, up to how much extent we can use that particular variable in our programs. So children, understood what is this? Any doubt? I hope there is no doubt. Okay, go through this properly. In the next class, I'll be doing some program based on these chapters. Okay, some examples I'll be doing that you need to go through.